Hello guys, this is Modest Major here, bringing you some commentary over some 18-2 Titanfall gameplay. I'm playing with my good friend Genesis Rider, a fellow YouTuber. He's actually getting a ton of fun out of this game, just like myself. Primarily a Halo player. I don't know what it is about this game that means that Halo players can translate across to the game quite easily. I think players just like the fact that the movements sort of translate to more arena style gameplay, and that's personally one of my favorite things about the game, is the sense of speed really can take some players off guard. And it's actually why I've decided to tweak my loadout a little bit. Instead of using the invisibility perk, I am now using the, I don't know what to call it. I think it's something like adrenaline transfusion. That's what they call it in the burn card. I didn't really get a good look at it, but it basically increases your speed times 2. It doesn't do it for the longest time, but it's extremely good at being the first person to get to the enemy spawn. This game in particular, we're actually playing as a full team of 6, and that might sound like it's going to be a lot of fun, but honestly, it can kind of turn into a cock-blocking fest where everyone's scrambling to get to the next pilot and kill them on time, and usually only 2 players of your team will really have gotten something great out of that game. And it's definitely one of the complaints newer players have regarding the game, is that some of them feel like they kind of don't accomplish anything in games. And although that might sound like a big negative towards the game, a big drawback, I don't necessarily think it is. I think it really encourages players to be as aggressive as possible. Aggression is heavily rewarded in this game. Getting to the enemy spawn as quickly as possible and starting ticking up that Titan time is basically essential in your chance to success. I've been playing with my fellow commentator Ubernick, and me and him both tried to get to the enemy spawn and control it as quickly and as successfully as possible. And what I've really been noticing is, as we've been competing with one another, we've been getting better at the game because we both wanted the bigger piece of the pie, and as a result we've been finding out new and interesting ways to get to that spawn and control it, and changing our perks and loadouts as necessary. And that's really the best part of the game for me, is just experimenting, figuring out what's the best loadout possible. I've also started to implement white smoke into my loadout. The alternative to white smoke was, I believe, the vortex shield, and I kind of have a hard time choosing between the two. Honestly, those two abilities are some of my favorite things to use as Titans. I feel like the vortex shield can create such interesting Titan dynamics, and that kind of brings in this fighting game vibe where you're choosing when to put up the vortex shield. You can bait the enemy team into putting up his vortex shield. So there's a lot I love about it, but then with the white smoke you can sort of back them into corners, push them up against the wall, and then engage the white smoke. I've actually trapped people in so they can't move out and they get killed by the smoke slowly. And you can also use it to break line of sight, which Lurker Zero mentioned in his video. Lurker Zero has made a lot of good points regarding white smoke, and as a result I felt like I just had to use it. I was kind of avoiding it for a while because I do love vortex. Those are my 2 favorite things in the game. Like I say, I wish there was some way I could use both, but beggars can't be choosers. The last thing I want to talk about today, I suppose, is the fact that the Xbox 360 version has been delayed, I believe, till April 9th. It could be 7th or something on those lines. But yep, it was already kind of delayed, as it was. It was already a little bit later than the Xbox One version. I believe it was going to come out on the 26th or something on those lines, and now they've delayed it further, which is going to be a pretty big blow to some of the community out there. I know a lot of my friends who were waiting for Titanfall to come out on 360. They didn't quite have the money to buy it on Xbox One, and I can't really blame them. The Xbox One is a lot of money just for one game that they can't necessarily try. If it was another installment in a series, they could say, well, you know what, I've really enjoyed every previous game in this franchise. There's probably a good chance that I'm going to like what's on offer in this game. But Titanfall, you can't really say that because it's a completely different IP. It's completely new. And you kind of have to get hands-on time to understand. Me personally, just watching the gameplay, I couldn't necessarily get the exact feel for what this game was going to play like. I didn't think there would be quite as much depth looking on it. You know, a lot of players on YouTube play this game in a kind of Call of Duty style, and that was starting to put me off the game because I was thinking, oh, is defensive play being heavily rewarded here? Do you have to, you know, sit back with the carbine every game and, you know, pushing forward will get you killed? That is totally not my sort of game, and I was really worried after Call of Duty Ghosts especially, but it turns out that really isn't the case, and I've just been having a ton of fun with it. But you don't necessarily know if you're the sort of guy that this will fit your playstyle. And I totally understand that. They've also been saying that the game is most likely going to run at 30 frames per second, although I heard the developers are trying to up that, which probably means that they'll have to, you know, put down the resolution, put down the graphics a little bit, which is going to come as a bit of a blow. I personally, you know, I'm not blown away by the graphics of Titanfall. That's definitely not the selling point. I think the animation is incredible and the feel of the game is incredible. And like I say, I think if from a 360 player's perspective, I think you should be more worried about that, it feeling as smooth as possible, rather than worrying about, you know, the best possible graphics. I don't know about you guys, maybe you feel differently, but graphics definitely don't make a game. I just want the game to feel right, to feel fun, and the aesthetics to look good, and that's what they definitely do. You know, there's a really good mix and variety of aesthetics in terms of the maps. They've got a couple of dark, brooding maps in this game, but then they've got bright, colourful maps like Lagoon. And they do a good job of offering variety. That was another thing I was worried about prior to getting this game, is that all the maps would have a very similar visual theme. Something that really put me off of the Call of Duty games was the fact that they had this run-down industrial theme running through pretty much every map in the game, and I'm not sure why that would be your core theme. You know, if you were going to have one core theme in your map gameplay, surely it should be bright and colourful, because then that keeps you coming back to it. It's addictive, and it feels like the maps are popping out of the screen. I really like that feel, in my opinion. But this game managed to capture both essences. It has that rundown, warlike, military theme in the game, but it also manages to have maps that are just, you know, beautiful looking cities with incredible vistas, and I really like that. I know I'm talking a lot of gas about Titanfall, how much I like it, and maybe it will change over time. But I do feel sorry for you 360 guys, and I hope you get the best product possible. But I also kind of hope some of you guys come on to Xbox One, because I'm having a fantastic time, and I always need more players to play with. As you can see, I'm going to nuclearly reject these Auto Titans and destroy them into oblivion. Anyway, I've been Modest Major. Hope you guys enjoyed. Peace.